Well, he's been running away with the Formula One World Championship, and Max Verstappen did not slow down this weekend. The Dutch driver won a rain-soaked Dutch Grand Prix yesterday in front of his home crowd, tying the F1 record of 9 consecutive victories, matching former Red Bull driver Sebastian Vettel. Verstappen is now one race away from breaking the record and solidifying his quest for another world title. Jason Gaidola is with us now with more on this. Hey, Jason.
Hey, Kelly. That's first record that he is approaching this year. He could get that 10th consecutive victory at what is known as the Temple of Speed, the Italian Grand Prix in Monza next weekend.
Max Verstappen, he wins the Dutch Grand Prix. He equals the all-time.
Regardless of the conditions on the track in Zandvoort, Max Verstappen thrived under pressure in front of a Dutch home crowd yesterday.
F3 Masters in 2014, he's raced here in 3 Formula One Grand Prix.
In the rain, the 25-year-old Dutchman clinched his 9th straight Formula One victory at the Dutch Grand Prix, finishing ahead of Aston Martin speedster Fernando Alonso.
To win 9 in a row, even when you have the best car on the grid, it's always incredibly tough, and especially with a day like today, you know, everything is basically against you. And it's
basking in the moment in front of ecstatic fans were also his loved ones, including his grandmother, who witnessed the historic moment.
And yeah, it was good to get some time off, come back.
He made a slight error by coming in a lap too late to switch to the intermediate tires at the beginning, and he was then in the traffic and had to pass quite a few cars to catch his teammate Sergio Perez, who had a big advantage at that point because he came in a lap earlier. But he did that so well. You know, he looked like he was in total control, even when the pressure was intense.
From slicks to intermediate tires, that's not an easy transition, and then also from the wet track to a drying track is not an easy transition. So it's always evolving, and so as a driver, you know, you're always having to adapt your style, adapt to what the track is giving you. Plus, you need to maintain a good pace.
F1 analysts believe it isn't too early to mention Verstappen among the all-time greats. While clinching his 3rd win in the Netherlands, he also tied former Red Bull driver Sebastian Vettel, a record that had been in the books since 2013.
Eventually, we are going to start talking about him as the same breadth of like the Schumachers, the Hamiltons, the Vettels, the Sennas, the Prosts. You know, we're going to be putting the Verstappen in there at some point as well, I think.
Now Verstappen has increased his championship lead in points and is closing in on a 3rd straight world title. He also appears to be leaving his Red Bull predecessor in his tracks.
Certainly Max has maximized every opportunity he's had, and I don't think he's let it go to his head, and I think he's kept both feet on the ground in a very impressive way.
What better place than the Temple of Speed for Verstappen to try to set a new Formula One record of 10 straight wins at the Italian Grand Prix in Monza next weekend.
It'll be interesting to see what happens at Monza. I'm sure from Max's point of view, he'll be just taking it as another race. He won't be putting his head up above the surface to think about numbers or statistics or what he's achieved, or even the World Championship this year. He'll just be thinking of it as another race. This is Monza. These are going to be the challenges.
Like a lot of the teams are starting to claw back performance and stuff like that too. I don't necessarily see anyone really challenging Red Bull.
I'll just add to Verstappen's dominance and his record-breaking potential. He did set the single-season record for most wins last year with 15, and you never know if he's on pace to do that kind of record again.